Hello, friends. Welcome to this Thursday night installment during our unordinary time together. We talked about Psalm 23 a few weeks ago, and then Ezekiel, the Valley of the Dry Bones. And tonight I just wanted to share another passage that I find particularly meaningful. And have found particularly meaningful, but I think addresses a bit of what is going on in our lives right now. It comes from the prophet Jeremiah, chapter 32, if you want to look it up. Basically, what takes place is Jeremiah, speaking to the king, is basically told him that he's going to get dethroned, and that the Babylonians are going to overrun the country and send them all into exile. Here's a little bit. The word that came to Jeremiah from the Lord in the 10th year of King Zedekiah of Judah, which was the 18th year of Nebuchadnezzar. I'm going to move on. Jeremiah said, "The word of the Lord came to me, Hanamel, son of your uncle Shallum, is going to come to you and say, buy my field that is in Anatoth." So what happens is Jeremiah, in the midst of the craziness that's going on, knowing full well that the people are about to be sent into exile, buys a field. There's a lot of language that has to do with contract and sort of contract law at the time, but the deed gets buried in a field in an earthen jar so that it can be preserved. So this is a little strange. Why would someone make a purchase in a land that was about to be overrun by their enemy? And of course, that's the whole point of the story, right? That God is a God who works through things, and God is a God of promise. And what Jeremiah is doing by purchasing that land is he's saying, I believe that God will see us through this time. Verse 26. The word of the Lord came to Jeremiah. See, I am the Lord, the God of all flesh. Is anything too hard for me? Therefore thus says the Lord, I am going to give the city into the hands of the Chaldeans and into the hand of King Nebuchadnezzar of Babylon. And then he goes on to say, but in the end, he brings the people back to the land of Israel and restores them. It's a powerful, powerful story and a powerful statement about the grace and the love of God, and one that has helped to nurture me, to uphold me, to give me strength in times that are difficult. And these are difficult times, let's face it. The more this thing lasts, the more we are separated from one another, the more difficult it is. But we're going to make it through this because our God is a God of promise and a God of grace and a God of love. And we will be given the courage to make it through this time together. Please continue to keep in touch with one another. Call each other, text each other, send each other emails, and reach out even to some people whom you may not know well, but whom you know in the congregation. And just give them a call and let them know you're thinking about them. So blessings, friends. Stay well, stay safe, and we will see each other in person at some point in the not too distant future. Blessings.
Hi, boys and girls. Today we have another art activity if you'd like to join me, and adults can join too if you'd like. but I'm going to have you take just a plain piece of paper, and we're going to be talking about our feelings today. So there can be a lot of feelings about this big change, right? It's not summer vacation, really, because some of us still have to do schoolwork or regular work. We can't go out as much. It can be really scary hearing about the virus from, maybe your parents or the news. And so we're going to talk about some of those feelings, because it's okay to feel all of those feelings, okay? So I want you to find a piece of paper, just a plain piece of paper, or the back of another one, and get some pens or pencils that are different colors, or crayons, whatever you'd like. And we're just gonna draw together today. So how about we split up our page into 4 sections. So you're gonna draw a line all the way from the top to the bottom, like that, if you can see, and then a line cutting that in half, like that. Pretty simple. All right, so this is a way for us to kind of think about how we feel about things, and the good, the bad, and in between. Okay, so for the first box on the top left, I'm gonna have you make a face. Okay, so it could be a smiley face, a sad face, a straight face, like maybe in between, maybe a crying face, whatever you want to say, whatever you want to draw in the first quadrant. And the question is, how are you feeling right now? Okay, so it can be happy, sad, a little in between. Like I said, it could be angry, right? So we can take any of our markers and go ahead and just draw the face of what you're feeling now. I'm going to draw mine. Okay. You can take your time, take another second here. Okay, so I'm going to show you mine. And keep in mind, you don't have to show this to anyone if you don't want. This can just be for you, okay? Or you can show me when we all come back together, okay? Or if you want, you can share it with your family. But if you don't want, that's okay too. Okay, so for the first box, for mine, I just drew a little side smile. I'm feeling pretty good today. Maybe not the best, the best day of my life or something, but feeling pretty okay. So what do you have? What did you draw? I'm curious to know. Okay, now in the second box next to that one, we're going to draw a different face. This one is, maybe get a different color. I'm going to get blue this time. And I want you to draw a face about how you've been feeling about the virus, if you've heard about that. And if you haven't, you can skip this one. But how are you feeling when you think about the virus and everything that's going on in the world? Okay, so think about it. It could be any kind of face you want, or you can draw hair on it, you can draw a background, and if it's not a face, that's okay too. But just, you can just be honest with yourself. How are you feeling about it? Okay, I'm going to draw mine. Okay, one more minute. And keep in mind, if you want to continue drawing or coloring this page, you can keep doing it after we're done with the video. You can make it as elaborate as you want. Elaborate just means as detailed as you'd like. Okay, so here's mine. My face is a little worried. It's a little bit kind of scared, kind of worried, a little bit anxious, right? If you know what anxious means, just means another word for feeling worried or upset. So that's mine. But it's not crying. I'm still hopeful about the situation. You don't have to feel the same way as me, but I'm just a little worried, concerned. Okay, how do you feel? Okay, now in the box underneath the first one, right here, we're going to do not a face this time, but I want you to write a word, okay? And if you need help writing a word, you can get a parent around to help you write it, or if you don't want to write a word, you can always draw another face, okay? Or draw something else. So this question is, how have you been feeling this past week? So maybe not today, and maybe not about the virus specifically, but how have you been feeling this week in general? You can just express it on your paper. I'm going to get a different one. And so you can write a word, or like I said, if you don't know how to write a word, you can just draw a face, okay? I'm going to have to switch my pen because this one's running out. Okay. And here's my word. So if you're not done, you can take an extra minute. But my word is the word thankful. And I might not feel this way 24/7, but I try to focus on that because it makes things a little better. It makes it easier to go on if I, think about all the wonderful things that God has blessed us with. So that's my word for this past week. What's your word? That's great. Whatever it is, that's wonderful. I'm just glad we're talking about it. All right. So, and the last box is going to be an exciting box. So this is the one underneath there. And now you're going to draw something, okay? So I want you to think about the future, right? The future is things that haven't happened yet. And so in the future, when we are all able to come back together again and we can go out more, we can go to church, to school, things like that. What is something that you're excited to do when we're able to start kind of going back to our normal lives? So I want you to draw that in the last box, okay? All right, so I'm going to take a minute and draw mine. Okay, this one might take a little bit longer, but you can take as long as you like. I'm just going to show you mine, so if you want to add some details later, you can. Okay, so this is not the most realistic picture, but what is that, you think? If you think it's a church, you're right. So my answer is, these are all of our friends. This is all of you. And I'm excited for us all to get together, to be all at church together once we can all return. And they're I've tried to have them hold hands, but it didn't really work out. But I'm excited for us to be able to give each other hugs and to say hi and all be together again. So I hope you enjoyed this. And just remember, whatever you're feeling, whatever you're going through with all that's happening, it's okay. We're all feeling a lot of different things right now. It can be really scary, it can be fun in some ways, and it can be hard. But just know that I'm here for you. Your friends and family are all here for you, and especially your church family. And absolutely, God is here for you too. So just wanted to pass that along, and excited to, if you're willing, you can bring them in and show me when we all come back together. Thanks so much, everybody. Bye. Hi, friends. I'm coming to you today with another prayer from this little book, Timeless Blessings. I'd invite you to read along with me in a prayerful attitude to God. This one is called My Winter's Past, a prayer poem. Let us pray. As spring the winter does succeed, and leaves the naked trees do dress, the earth all black is clothed in green, At sunshine each their joy express. My sons returned with healing wings. My soul and body do rejoice. My heart exults and praises sing to you who heard my wailing voice. My winters past, my storms are gone, and former clouds now seem all fled. But if they must eclipse again, I'll run where I was amply fed. I have a shelter from the storm, a shadow from the fainting heat. I have access unto your throne, you who are God, so wondrous great. Amen. This is from Anne Bradstreet. So here's our little background on the poem and prayer. Raised in England, Anne Bradstreet moved to the colonies as a married woman of 18 in 1630. Her love and fascination with her new home was evident in her poetry. She was the first woman poet to publish in the colonies. Her collection of poetry, called The 10th Muse Lately Sprung Up in America, was taken to England by her brother and published in 1650. This prayer is from Religious Experiences and Occasional Pieces, which was left to her children and published after her death. She proclaimed that it was a record of God dealing with her from childhood through her last days. Although her poetry was not well known during her lifetime, it won critical acclaim in the 20th century and continues to be well respected in literary circles, especially her later work, which is deeply personal. So thank you for joining me for another prayer, and this one is a little poem as well. And I look forward to next time. Thank you all so much.
All things bright and beautiful, like you.